Hello there. I'm Dr. Gerald Meadows, and I'm really pleased to be leading you through this introduction to graduate education at Belhaven University. Now, this is your first course, or it should be your first course in your School of Business venture with us, and hope to get you off to a really good start. Now, this first set of lectures this week is going to focus on writing and APA because in this program, you're going to do a lot of writing. So we might as well get started and learn how to do it well and do it right from the get-go. Now, by the end of this course, you're going to be hopefully better at several things. You're going to be able to use APA. The American Psychological Association has some rules for formatting papers and correctly citing references and citations. So you'll be learning how to do that and learning how to do that well. You're going to learn how to use the Belhaven Library. And I hope you'll learn some time management skills, because we'll talk about that in a little bit later. But time management is critical to your success as a graduate learner. You're going to learn about critical thinking, because in a graduate education, you're going to be thinking more about why things are how they are and how things work, rather than just learning facts. So we're going to be going beyond the facts and applying some critical thinking skills. We're going to delve in the last 3 units of this course into the idea of a worldview, which is how you think about the world and how the world is put together and how the world works and what that means to you and how it affects how you see things in life. You're going to contrast the elements of a Christian worldview, which we use here at Belhaven University, with at least one other identified worldview. You're going to learn how to articulate your own worldview. And finally, we're going to employ artificial intelligence to perform common academic tasks. And I hope you'll find that especially exciting and useful. Now, by the end of this 1 unit, you should be able to find sources in the Belhaven Library online. You should be able to differentiate between primary and secondary sources. You should be able to begin to format things correctly using APA and navigate your new friend and study buddy Axio AI, and think about the life-changing effects of a graduate education. As you embark on this graduate education, on this master's degree, you're going to learn how to think at a different level. You should learn how to look at facts, look at research. Should learn how to synthesize ideas in a way that you've probably never done before. And hopefully by the end of it, a light bulb is going to come on and you're going to say, wow, I never could have thought about things that way before I got this master's degree. That day will come for you, I hope. Biblically, we're looking at a couple of things. We want to say whatever we do it heartily as for the Lord and not for men. Okay? And especially this verse that I particularly like out of Proverbs, it says, "Do you see a man that's skillful in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men." We want to learn how to do everything we do in this master's program at a very high level, of proficiency, and dedicated to the Lord and not just to men. Let's dive into APA for a minute. You'll hear a lot about APA. You will encounter it in every course that you take, because APA, the American Psychological Association, is the preferred format in most schools of business. APA format tells us how we lay out papers, how we organize them, how we format them, how we cite references. Okay. It's a format for writing, and they even use it for publishing. Now, why do we make you stick to this? Well, it helps you present your ideas clearly. The discipline of using APA will help you discipline your thinking. Okay. It'll help you think clearly, consistently, and then present those ideas to the readers, because you want to provide a familiar structure so the readers don't have to figure out where you're coming from or your style, things like that. You don't want those to enter in and distract the reader. So we've chosen this preferred format. It eliminates distractions, and it lets the readers focus on your ideas, not how the page looks or how you formatted something. And believe it or not, it's going to make you sound more credible. It's going to add strength and credibility and gravitas to the things that you write. Okay. Now, APA format is commonly used in the fields of business, education, and social sciences, and that's why we use it here in the School of Business at Belhaven, and it's mandatory in the Belhaven School of Business. It is not an option of using APA or not using APA. You will use it, and you'll get graded on whether you do or not. So this is a good thing to learn right now. Now, it's not that difficult. At first, when you start looking at APA, it is going to look a little strange, perhaps, but after you work with it a little while, you'll start to see a certain consistency about it. You'll start to see patterns. Okay. It's just rules. Okay. Do you understand baseball or football or basketball or some other game? Sure. You learned the rules, did you? So you could play the game. APA is formatting using certain rules. None of the rules are hidden. They're all written out for you. You can find them, and there are plenty of resources to help you find them. One of the resources is the publication manual. There's a picture of it there. You can order that publication manual of the APA. You can order it from any bookseller. You can get used copies. They're not very expensive, and that's a paper copy for you to use. There is another excellent online resource, and I've given you the URL for it there. That is the university, Purdue University has put together what they call their online writing lab, OWL or OWL. And if you'll go to that URL right there, you can actually find just about everything that's in that publication manual is available for you online with visuals that you can see how it's employed. The other thing that I will let you know about right now is I've got another little video in this unit showing you how to actually get to the OWL and some other APA rules and references and guides that are available through Belhaven University. You go through BlazeNet, and then you go into the academic resources, and you can find all of these resources right there. So getting to those rules, learning how to do those rules is no secret. Everything is provided for you. And we even have provided videos and step-by-step guides to help you format things properly using APA. I would encourage you to spend a good bit of time just exploring APA online or in the publication manual, because the more you explore about it, the more you use it, the better you get about it. And after a while, it just becomes second nature. You don't have to think about what the rules are. You'll know what to do right. Now, 3 things you can't do as a graduate learner. Okay. You can't rely on your own experience as an authority. Remember I said a while ago, we're looking at synthesizing ideas and going just beyond facts. We're going to be getting into some things like why things work the way they do, how things work to better. How can I put idea A together with idea B and come up with a new way of doing things or a new product? Therefore, we're going to have to use sources and authorities. There are people that have come before you that has spent a lot of time researching. These are people with their subject matter experts. They're experts in these fields, and they have the credentials to properly do research and to publish for you. You will learn to rely on these people as you put your papers together, as you do your research. Now, one of the things you can't use as a research, as an authority, is yourself, because you're not an authority yet. Okay. You're not a subject matter authority yet on anything we're learning. Okay. So you can't use your own experience as an authority, because, well, that's just one experience. And we're going to be getting our research from people who have a lot of experience, much broader. Okay. You can't rely on the opinions of unqualified sources. And we're going to talk about what those are, what those may be in just a little bit. Okay. And you can't rely on things like everybody knows that. You're going to need to substantiate what you say. Now, why do we do that? We do that because it builds credibility with you. If you can say, here's an idea, and here are 4 or 5 sources that back me up on there, that tells the reader, or tells me as I'm listening to you, that you have firm ground for what you're saying. So learn to rely on those sources. And let's talk about what else they do for us. They support the assertions that we make. If you make an assertion and don't have any authority to back you up, you basically presented your opinion. Okay. Now, one of the things we don't do at Belhaven University is we don't award degrees for having opinions because everybody walks in with an opinion. Okay. But you're going to learn how to use these resources and to support the ideas that you present. They really answer the question. When you have a source that answers the question, why should I believe you? Okay. Or as a colleague of mine, you say, who's got your back? Who's backing you up on this assertion you're making? Also, they'll stretch you as you think as a learner and as a writer. Okay. You'll encounter some new ideas, and you're going to have to think about that idea and say, does that change the way I've always thought about this topic? Okay. Because we all, as humans, we have a tendency to lean towards something called confirmation bias. That's where we have an idea and we just go out looking for resources and sources and to back up the idea we already had. We're not very good as human beings about challenging our own ideas. And this is what sources do for us. Right? They expose us to new ideas. They help us counter that confirmation bias, just looking for stuff that supports what we believe in anyway. Okay. So the sources will make you a better thinker. They will challenge you because true learning and true growth just comes up after you step one step beyond what you already know. So they're going to push you into things you already that you don't know already. A couple of types of sources that you're going to run into. And there's actually a video on this in BlazeNet in the academic resources that'll help you with this even more. There's primary sources. Those are original records created by someone who experienced an event, an eyewitness account of a historical event. A researcher that does research and actually writes down the results of his own research and his research study or his experiment or his survey. Those are called primary sources because they were done by eyewitnesses, you might say. Secondary sources are documents, images, other records that interpret primary sources. If I were to take a research study that someone did and tell you about that research study, I would be presenting you with a secondary source. If you wanted to see the original source, I would disclose that to you, and you could even go back and look at the primary source in the original. Okay? Primary sources include things like diaries, experiment data, letters, speeches, photographs, official records, especially things like minutes or official documents that were done at a particular time within a particular event. Secondary is things like documents that explain the primary documents. Textbooks are secondary sources that I will tell you right now. Textbooks are not considered primary. They're good sources. They're good sources for background information, but they are not considered primary sources. An image of something else was of the original document may sometimes be considered a secondary source. And journal articles are secondary often because they will synthesize and and bring together a lot of primary sources. So we still consider those reliable, but they are still considered a secondary source. Nothing wrong with secondary sources. This is just to help you understand that some things are primary right on the spot. Other things are reported about what was right on the spot. Okay. Probably more important than right now for you, the difference between primary and secondary is important, but probably more important to you is this idea of scholarly, non-scholarly. Scholarly sources are what we call peer-reviewed. That means other experts in that field have looked at those and have verified that this peer's reliable. The research method that the presenter provided was good, was credible. They went through the right research steps. They didn't appear to be making stuff up. Okay. And generally there's committees of people, more than one person, review reviews it to make sure that things were cited by the writer. These are typically written to advance the field of study. Examples of that might be a scholarly journal like the New England Journal of Medicine or the Journal of the American Psychiatric Association. These kind of journals are considered scholarly. You will be encouraged in your research at Belhaven to use as many scholarly sources as possible. The other group is non-scholarly. That makes sense, doesn't it? Scholarly, non-scholarly. They're not peer-reviewed. Doesn't mean they're bad. Okay, doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just that they're not peer-reviewed. The author may or may not have credentials in the field. Sometimes they don't show you their sources. They're typically written to entertain or inform. Doesn't mean they're bad, but and quite frankly, sometimes they're useful. National Geographic, great publication, but it's not peer reviewed. Time Magazine, certainly not peer reviewed, but if you want some accounts of some recent events, they're there. Professional journals in fields like engineering, nursing, those kind of areas often have articles which can be quite valuable for you because they show how maybe some scholarly research was applied, but they themselves are not considered scholarly because they are not peer-reviewed yet. There are some sources that, well, you can look things up in them, but you certainly don't need to be citing them in your papers that you write. These are good sources for things like buzzwords. If you just want a quick overview of how something works or how the idea is explained. If you just need a good helicopter view of something, Wikipedia is good. Don't ever cite it though. WebMBA, the other source, definitely not peer reviewed. Quality can be a little suspect sometimes, but it's a good quick reference. About.com. Certainly don't ever cite and use in a paper message boards and blogs, and certainly not yourself because you don't have the credentials yet. So avoid sources like that. You can use them for background, but definitely don't ever cite them in a paper. Now, in this course, you're going to be introduced, if you're not already using it, some artificial intelligence. It's a great tool for research. In the short time that artificial intelligence has been available, I have saved many, many hours of research by using artificial intelligence because I can shape a question and I can ask my AI to help provide me sources or maybe synthesize ideas and correlate information, help me put two ideas together. And it saved me many, many hours. Then I can take the AI output and further massage it and further edit it myself. So I found it useful for research. Great time saver. It's a study companion. I can use AI to help me learn new concepts. Is one colleague of mine says, it's a real study buddy. And you can pose questions to AI in order to get yourself a quick education on something you're trying to understand. It just reduces the drudgery. It can perform common tasks and summarize a lot of information for you. And these are wonderful time savers. Belhaven University has built into your Canvas tool a tool called Axio AI, which is a very, very user-friendly but very, very effective AI tool. And in fact, the more you use Axio, the more it learns about you and helps customize its output to help you out. So once you set up that tool in Canvas, you'll continue to use it through all of your courses. Now, it's okay to use artificial intelligence for research and study. Okay? Just don't plagiarize with it. We're going to talk about plagiarism later, and that's when you take somebody else's work as your own. So you can't use something that AI gave you, stick it in the paper and say you wrote it. Okay. Always cite it just like you would cite another source that you that you use in your research, and it's okay to use. One of the books that you'll be reading through this course is The Long View, written by Dr. Roger Parrott. Um, One of the things about a graduate education, about a master's degree education, especially in the School of Business, is it should help you become a leader in your field and a leader of other people. And The Long View is a book about leading, and it's a book about leading from a Christian perspective. Now, it may change your ideas about leading, and I hope it does, because many of us, because of popular culture, because of experience we've had and what the way people talk about leading, we may have some ideas about leading that are really not accurate. Okay? And I hope The Long View and some other things we discuss about leading will change that perspective for you. I hope that by the time you finish this course and have finished reading The Long View and begun to think about leading others, number one, your leadership abilities will already start getting better, and you'll begin to influence others. And let's use that word influence right there, because I think you're going to find, as you study leading and leadership more, that leadership's not about telling people what to do. It's about influencing other people. You'll see more about that later. Okay. So here we are. Here we are at the end of this unit. Now, we're kind of making you drink out of a fire hose for the next couple of weeks. Okay. There's a lot to read. There's a lot to explore. And we're asking you to attempt some things you've never done before. It's okay if you're not an expert right away. Don't expect you to be. Okay. We do expect you to grow rapidly and develop skills. Okay. So how to wrap this thing up? There's a lot of little assignments this week and next week. Many things we're asking you to read and expose yourself to. None of them are terribly long and terribly time consuming, but there just seems to be a lot of them. Discipline yourself to go through them systematically. Read The Long View, the chapters assigned for The Long View. Explore the Belhaven University Library, and I mean explore it. If you see a link that looks interesting, click on it. See what the university library can do for you. Follow the tutorials that they provide. Learn about APA formatting. The more you read about it, the more you look at how things are formatted, and you see how other people have used it effectively, the more you can learn how to apply it. Don't skip the lectures and videos. Often there's going to be useful information in those lecture videos that we provide to you in this course and every course. And if you don't watch them, you will miss something. Many chapters, many units in this course and in others have a quiz to test your knowledge. Take that quiz, and those quiz questions can come from anything you are assigned to read in the unit, or it can come from the videos. Another reason not to skip those lecture videos. And last but not least, complete everything. Okay, if you don't complete things, you don't turn in work, you can't get the points, you can't get the grades. Okay, can't grade. As instructors, we can't grade what we don't get. So complete things, complete them on time, and complete them at a high quality. Look at that. Even there's a couple of images that I've used, and even I have to provide my sources. I can't take credit for things that other people have done. Now, you wrap it up, do these things, and we'll see you next week.